Hey guys, Michael Luckadoo, ArmchairBuilder.com here. Hey listen, in the last video segment we showed you how to install a recessed outlet with a switch for an indirect lighted crown molding. Today we're going to show you how to install the actual crown molding as well as the lighting behind it. Let's take a look. So we're going to use a 3-piece trim detail that will create a custom look at an affordable price. All 3 pieces come pre-primed to save us on prep work. The crown is a finger jointed wood while the 2 flat pieces are made out of medium density fiber to save money. So the bottom piece of trim is 2.5 inches wide and 21/32 inches thick. The middle piece is 1.5 inches wide by 21/32 inches thick, and the crown is 9/16 by 2 3/4 inches. Now there's obviously a million different combinations you can use here, but we like this one for a soft contemporary look. So we're going to use a mock-up of our 3-piece crown to help us get the correct height for the first piece of trim. We don't want to see the outlet when we're done, so we'll set the height to keep the top of the crown molding just above the top of the electrical outlet plate. Now we use our level to mark the top of the first piece of trim around the entire room. We mark the top so we can't see the mark after installation. We also mark the location of each stud above the trim to show us where to nail. By hitting a stud, you know the trim will be up there tight. So now we work our way around the room installing the trim and using a 45-degree bevel cut in the inside corners. We're using a quick grab glue to hold the trim in place until we get the nails in. Be sure to set the air pressure on your gun so that it's not too high, otherwise you might cause damage to the surface of this medium density fiber trim. Couple of things you may want to note for your project. We've pre-painted the walls to the new color just over the bottom of the new trim to prevent having to do any cut-in work. We've also painted above the trim with a white to help reflect the light upward from behind the crown molding. Once we finish installing the bottom piece all the way around the room, we can start installing the second piece. We created this guide shaped like an L to help us make sure the second piece of trim is installed with a consistent reveal and is level. So the guide helps you hold that second piece of trim in place while you nail it. So we work our way around the room installing that second piece of trim and notching it around the outlet for the future lighting behind the crown molding. So guys, we've got our first 2 pieces of our 3-piece crown molding up on the wall now. So what I want to do is I want to show you a little bit about how we're going to install the lighting behind this so you can get an idea of how this detail really works well with this type of rope lighting we're going to install behind it. So here's a look at that crown detail, guys, and you can see here by the way that we've built up the crown on the wall. Right now we've got this piece and this piece. We've got a nice little track between the walls here, between the wall and that second piece to set that rope lighting in there, or you can also set it on top. One thing I would recommend is make sure all of this is white beforehand, so if it's not pre-primed, make sure that you get it painted so that that white reflects up onto the ceiling, especially if what you have is white up there already and you want a more white, brighter light. But this detail makes it really nice for being able to set that lighting back behind there. So you guys probably remember that we installed the recessed light up here near the ceiling. We actually tucked it right underneath. There's a doubler and a top plate on this wall, any interior wall typically, and we've got that outlet just below that, so it's about 2 3/8 from the ceiling, and because we've got 5/8 drywall, and then we're going to use a rope lighting here to tuck right neatly behind the second piece of trim. So because of the thickness of the first piece, this rope lighting sits in there really nice, and then we'll have the crown on top of that. But we notched the second piece of trim to make sure that we could be able to get the plug into the outlet and work out. So let's take a look at how that's going to work. Turn the light on here. So we're using an incandescent rope light, which costs us about $60 at our local home improvement store. You may choose to go with an LED to save energy, but they'll also cost you more money. The nice thing about these particular lights is that you can add on to them. Our room was 60 feet in perimeter, so we're combining a 48-foot and a 12-foot rope light. So before we start installing the crown molding, we want to make sure that the rope light plug will clear it. You'll want to adjust the crown as necessary to enable you to use the plug properly. The good news is the recessed outlet we installed gives us extra depth for the plug and the thickness of the plug for the rope light. So now we can remove the rope light and start installing our crown molding. So if you're not an experienced trim carpenter, you may find it helpful to create a mock-up of an inside and an outside corner of crown, labeling each piece. This will help you to visualize your cuts as you move around the room. We've created another L guide to hold the crown in place while we nail it to make sure it's level with a consistent reveal. Now we work our way around the room, making sure that all the crown is level and each and every joint is tight. Then we use a little putty, caulk, and paint, and we're ready to set the rope light behind the crown. The materials for this project are under $500, but the end result is stunning. With a little bit of effort, you'll get a nice relaxing space with a high-end custom look.